Hi. In one of the earliest videos in the Lessons for Life series, I had talked about 5 dimensions of personal development. And this is an important chunk in the theoretical framework that I'm presenting to you and connecting to achieving results in the physical health key result area. Now, you may be asking, I've been talking about 5 dimensions of personal development and the 8 pillars of life and the 8 layers of self as matter and the self as energy and a few other key ideas. Now, all of these key ideas form the framework for us becoming better in any of the 8 pillars. What are the 8 pillars? The 8 pillars are key results areas, right? So when we talk about 8 pillars, these are the areas in which we set outcome goals and we move from these outcome goals to then re-engineer our mindset. So that's where we need mindset goals, and then we move towards identifying action goals which we then execute until these action goals become habits, and habits then become our character. Okay, when habits become habit systems, they become our character. These are the theoretical parts that we have been talking about. If you ask me, is all of these my own findings? No, none of this is my own findings. All of these knowledge I sought by reading many books, by attending many trainings and seminars, many of them paid. Yes, I spent a lot of money seeking this knowledge. So I attended trainings and seminars, and I continue to do so till today. And I read many books that are written by thought leaders in this field. Okay, right. So what is my own is the connection I make between all of these ideas, which I then used to improve my own physical health, because this was a major challenge I faced in my life. And knowing all of this helped me bounce back from a near-death situation. And so I am actually presenting all of these knowledge bits to you, and if it resonates with you, go ahead and apply it. But one of the main reasons why I'm recording and publishing this video is for my own improvement. As I synthesize these ideas, as I form connections between these otherwise isolated chunks of knowledge, or information, I create a knowledge base for me to guide my own life. And after you've read books, after some time you forget. So synthesizing these videos helps me remind myself, and also puts this knowledge in little chunks that I can revisit and refresh my mind by viewing them over time as and when I need them. So that's my motivation for making these videos. But if it resonates with you and if it helps you, I'm so glad that it does. So feel free to take away whatever you need to from these videos. Okay, back to the 5 dimensions of personal development. While the 8 pillars are results or outcome areas, okay, key results areas, the 5 dimensions are the area that you work on, the area that you manipulate, how you change yourself. Okay, so this is sort of the input that will then yield the results in the 8 areas. What about the 8 layers then, you may ask? The 8 layers are the layers across which you need to work on, because as individuals we all have our identities, and these identities exist across these 8 layers, and we have to re-engineer these 8 layers when we are working with the 5 dimensions, right? And then we have talked about self as energy, and why this is important is because understanding energy, or understanding ourselves as energy, or some people prefer to use the word soul or spirit, helps us understand the natural principles that govern our existence in life. And when we understand this, we are able to become more coherent and congruent, right? So these are the ideas that we are exploring, and we are using these concepts, theories, ideas to work on one dimension. To me, that's the most important dimension to work on, the physical health dimension, or the physical health result area, both dimension and result area. Yeah, so they're both related. Now, if you remember in the video about 5 dimensions of personal development, okay, we talked about intellectual dimension. Now, the intellectual dimension was further subdivided into 4 subdimensions. The 4th subdimension is critical thinking. And I'm going to just touch on that and relate it to how we need to work on this subdimension to really get the results we want in the physical dimension and the physical health pillar, right? So, one thing about critical thinking is many people think it's common sense, but having said that, it is not. Okay, so we need to work on our critical thinking. With regard to working on my own critical thinking, I resorted to reading a lot of books, because there aren't many courses or training programs or workshops conducted over a short limited period of time that can re-engineer your entire thinking, clarity, to a stage where you can say that you're a critical thinker. So I read many books on this subject, but one very good book, I would say this is a gem when you're trying to work on your critical thinking ability. This one right here, The Art of Thinking Clearly by Rolf Dobelli. Yeah, I hope I'm saying the name correctly. Now, I love this book. I would not say that I agree with everything presented in this book, not 100%. There are things that I have a different thinking process about, but there are a lot of gems in this book here. Really very valuable read. There are 99 chapters that touch on various thinking fallacies. Now, why critical thinking is very important is because it gives us the power to discern facts from myth. And this is a very important ability that we need to have in order to solve any problems in our life. And in this case, the problem we are trying to solve is less than ideal physical health and fitness, right? So one of my own limiting belief that kept me fat for the longest time was that I had fat genes. It was something passed on to me by my elders. I believed that I had the type of fat genes that allowed me to be slim and trim for as long as I was not married and I had not had kids. But the moment I was married and had kids, this fat gene will somehow turn on and will just manifest itself in me becoming fat. What a total lack of critical thinking. If you catch yourself saying that, look at me, I'm laughing at you because I managed to laugh at myself, okay? There's nothing more ridiculous than that notion. And when you develop critical thinking, you're able to discern between fact and myth, and therefore you're able to actually break down your limiting, disempowering false beliefs like this. Okay? Yes, we are all each genetically unique, but that only goes so far as to result in various differences, one of which is a different rate of metabolic reaction in your body. This means that you need to adopt a different lifestyle. That's all. It doesn't mean that you have to be fat. It doesn't mean that you're dealt a bad deal and you're stuck with it for the rest of your life. And I say, change your lifestyle, just change the way you eat, change how you exercise, and you can also change what you eat, how you eat, when you eat. And when I talk about when you eat, I'm talking about fasting. Yeah? So we will talk more about the impact of fasting in our next video. For now, let me leave you with this. If you're one of those people who tells yourself that you're fat because your parents have passed on fat genes to you and there's nothing you can do about it, I say right there is a critical thinking fallacy, and you're not thinking clearly and critically. Drop that belief, drop ever saying that again, and work on changing your lifestyle. Right? See you again in another video.